Hello everyone and welcome back to Aviation A to Z. We all are familiar with COVID-19 crisis and it's really getting worse day by day. It has led to global lockdown impacting almost each and every sector of countries. But today we are going to talk about its impact and effect on aviation industry. Aviation industry is heart of travel industry, the fastest of all travel means, but it has come to complete halt. In this video, we will be looking for world before COVID-19, current situation, reports from various international and national organizations, effect on flight attendants and maintenance personnel, as well as impact on manufacturers. Apart from this, we will see aviation sector after crisis gets over and possible solution. And finally, summary. This video will be little lengthy, but I will try to cover each and every aspect. All information provided here is true according to my knowledge and you can verify them through source provided in this video. I will also make a detailed video on COVID-19 impact on Indian aviation and on AMA field. But let's see. A world before COVID-19. Before 2019 and earlier, there was steady growth of 7 to 8% in aviation industry worldwide. IATA forecast predicts 8.2 billion air travelers till 2037. Also 20% of new jobs in world due to travel industry. The world was showing increment in traffic of air travel, construction of new airports, fleet development. Except Boeing 737 MAX, global aviation industry was blooming, but suddenly the COVID-19 crushed whole world. Let's see current situation. As you all know, there is complete lockdown on Earth. The sky is empty. The major airlines are grounded. Like American Airlines has grounded 80% of its total fleet. Due to this, 4,800 pilots granted voluntary leave while another 715 will take early retirement. About 7,960 flight attendants taking leave or early retirement. It's been hit harder and seeking $12 billion from US government. You must be shocked from this news. Lufthansa, which is biggest group, has parked 700 out of 763 aircraft and is about to cancel or postpone the delivery of new aircraft. Earlier, they were rapidly expanding with new plane coming into their fleet in 10 days, but situation is completely opposite now. Qantas Airlines will face huge loss as Australia is on lockdown for 6 months. And has already given leave to 30,000 employees, yet they will run their domestic network. Emirates expanded service to more cities to rescue its national and will operate flight less frequently to 13 new destinations. Singapore Airlines, the world's best airline of 2019, has grounded 138 aircraft out of 147, which makes 96% of total capacity, and has successfully secured $13 billion financial package, which is single biggest announcement by an airline in the world. There are hundreds of airlines suffering as almost all airports has limited its operation, and Changi Airport Jewel Terminal will be shut down for 18th month and is the saddest news. Let us see the report from various international and national organizations. According to CAPA, Center for Aviation report, major international airline share price have dropped by 50% and more, while China's three biggest airlines, China Southern Airlines, China Eastern Airlines, and Air China, had dropped only little more than 10%, which is sad. As per Independent UK, it's very harsh yet true. Airlines are burning through cash at 4 lakh euro per minute, means 3 crore and 20 lakh rupees per minute. The combination of trip cancellation and country's own restriction on international and domestic flight has caused about $880 billion loss to airlines throughout the world, said World Economic Forum. According to them, earlier on 20 Jan 2020, the World Airline used to operate 4,62,36,000 plus daily flights to Asia. But on 23rd March 2020, the number became almost half to 2,60,00,000 plus flights to Asia, while only after 7 days, on 30th March, number became 1,80,00,000, and after that few thousands, and that is also cargo and rescue or some special flights. So looking at number of flights operated daily, you can assume the damage this virus has caused to Asia is far greater than other continents. Still, other continents' flight also came to halt, except some countries operating domestic flights. As per Visual Capitalist data on global flight schedule capacity as on 6 April 2020 report, the German and Spain carriers airlines has seen reduction of about 92.6% of its operating capacity, which is highest in world, followed by Hong Kong to 92.3%, while UK has reduced to 90.7% of its capacity, while Singapore, Italy, France, UAE and Sweden has lost about 90 to 85% of its capacity. Talking about Far East, Australia has lost 78% of its capacity. India also reduced to 71%, while major players like China has up to 46%, and USA keeping flights operational yet lost 45% of its capacity. So, as you can see, except China, Asia, Europe and Oceania is most affected from COVID-19 crisis. IATA Director General Mr. Alexander D. Juniak told that airline revenue will be lowered by $252 billion in 2020. Also, ICAO Secretary General Dr. Fang Liu stated in her official letter, there are approximately 650,000 licensed personnel supporting commercial air transport worldwide, and if a fraction of those personnel is affected by pandemic measures, the potential for disruption may be significant. In order to facilitate safe operation during this difficult time, I encourage the state to be flexible in approaches while at the same time adhering to obligations presented in the Convention of ICAO. In short, ICAO Secretary General has requested aviation authorities of country to extend and maintain validity, yet they are not working. According to Boston Council Group, airline industry has been hit extremely hard from COVID-19, even harder than 9/11, 2003 SARS pandemic and 2008 global financial crisis put together. Let's see COVID-19 cause on manufacturer. According to Flight Global Fleet Forecast, market share of global aircraft manufacturer like Airbus is 45%, while of Boeing is 43%. Boeing announced temporary suspension of production, which accounts for roughly 80% of commercial and military activity, while Airbus continues to manufacture at Toulouse in France and Tianjin, China, its Airbus 320 and 330 facility. It's really difficult to predict as on now impact on manufacture, but according to me, if aviation industry reduced to 50% and limiting its fleet, the new orders will be cancelled or averted further. Impact of COVID-19 on flight attendants. COVID-19 crisis affected the flight attendant the most. In an interview, the 20 airline group had told that 60 to 70% of flight attendants will be laid off, which means lost their job, and account for about 2 million or 20 lakh jobs in airport and airlines. You must be shocked that 2 million people make contribution of about $4.2 billion to economy and aviation giants per year. Impact of COVID-19 on maintenance organization. Total global impact of COVID-19 on MROs is estimated between $17 billion to $35 billion loss and will cause 20 to 40% of reduction in jobs until end of May. As you know, MRO industry is underrated and this 3 months will wipe off its substantial portion and will be affected worstly. Enough of sad and bad news. I know it's really demotivating, but I have not said this but aviation experts, but they also suggested some solution which will help us to regain some control over losses. So let's see solution. What will happen to our aviation sector after crisis gets over? As Kappa said that those airlines will survive who has government support or his parent company has lots of money reserve. It further added, it's really important that all international authorities like ICAO, European Union and IATA as well as local authority must come forward to establish new framework for world's need. IATA director stated, to survive this crisis, the airport may need to reduce its operational capacities and airline must reduce their fleet and thin out route network. Boston Consulting Group has provided 3 key factors for survival. Optimization of size and dimension of their network and fleet, like they must analyze which fleet type is best to recommission and get flying and also think which route is most likely to recover first. Also, airlines should consider mergers and acquisition (M&A), which means small airline for survival must merge with bigger airline or else survival is difficult. Also, resize and restructure the operating models. Organization using zero-based approach start from the beginning will survive. Also, it will take few weeks to regain the control. Adding further, airlines should be prepared for ramping up once airport and countries reopen, and must establish project management office to manage cash until everything gets stabilized and regular financial processes and routines could be implemented once again. At last, to summarize what we have seen in this video. At last, to end, remember these are turbulent times for airlines. Yet, industry's response so far has been nothing short of impressive. Companies that will take data-driven action-oriented and digitally supported approach will have best chance to emerge stronger from COVID-19 crisis. I hope you got some idea about COVID-19 crisis, effect and impact, and also got possible solution for aviation industry. We will try to bring such informative videos, so subscribe and share this video to all of your friends and colleagues. Till then, stay safe and stay tuned.